What's up, everybody? Well, I got another FIREBAT mini PC gameplay video for you guys today. And today we're going to try out some Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Now, it's probably going to not run great on here, but who knows? Maybe it'll actually be able to match the Steam, or not the Steam Deck, the Allies and whatnot, and be somewhat playable for some, instead of being like the Steam Deck and just being basically unplayable, unless you're okay with 20, 30 FPS and lots of hiccups, which some people are. But I'm going to have to wait for this to download, since I didn't feel like hooking this thing up just to download it. I'm going to have to do that on a couple systems, like the laptops and the other two systems I picked up recently. But with that said, luckily you don't have to wait for that. So let's go jump in and look at the settings we're going to start with. So this thing's just like the rest of the stuff we've tested, under the minimum specs, so not expecting this to be a great experience, but we're going to try it anyway. And we'll work all the way down to portable settings and get a little camera recorded gameplay. That's the plan anyway, unless it like crashes or does some goofy stuff, which I don't believe this thing crashed on anything, if I'm remembering correctly. Either way, let's get into the game, let's see what it can do on high, and then we'll mosey down the settings after that. So now for some 900p and medium settings. I think we stayed over 30, or close to staying over 30 now, kind of like the Allies, but we still dropped under a little, and this is probably an easier place to run. So I would still probably have to say we'd have to drop this down to like 720p in portable settings to even be remotely close to playable, just like we did on the Allies. And when you're on a 24-inch screen, it doesn't really look all that great. It was passable on the small screens, but no longer.
start. Feel that. Damn shaky. Oh shit.
So now for 720p low, which at least I believe gets us over 30 FPS in this area now, but can't guarantee it for the whole game, of course. Haven't been through the whole game, but it does not look especially great. Still looks a hair better than portable settings, but not by much. But all right, let's hop in and let's see what it can do.
Let's head home before it gets dark. Feel that. Damn shaky.
Now here's the portable settings, which I'd either use that or low on this thing. If this was my only system, I just had to play this game and refused to go and buy a PlayStation. Because honestly, a PlayStation is quite a bit better than this particular type of system, but you can still do more on this. So some people still like to use these for a whole plethora of things, including a little gaming on the side. Anyway, let's get to gaming.
Let's head home before it gets dark. I feel that. Damn shaky.
Alright, let's get a little camera recorded gameplay. Just like the Allies, it's like borderline playable. Doesn't really look very good on this 24-inch screen though. It was passable on like a little handheld screen, but this does not look especially good on this screen. It's not the worst looking game I've ever seen by any means, but if you've got something like this and you want to play though, and you're okay with like 30, 40 FPS, and you're okay with the way it looks though, I'd say you're alright. I haven't had any crashes the whole time I've been testing this time, which is kind of funny. I would have thought that other game would have been much easier to run than this, but no crashes here, and had crashes on it, so. Yeah, what was it? I can't remember what game it was, but it was another game I tested recently. I just test so many it's hard to remember, you know? I'd probably be okay in this terrain if it were just me, but carrying a baby and a bunch of shit on my back, I'd probably twist my ankle and go down the frickin' mountain within like 10 seconds. Or it'd take so long that I get caught in that rain that fucks you up and end up like having us all die. But hey, I'm not a porter, so luckily I don't have to do all of that. I just like to put myself in the shoes of characters way too much.
Feel that. Damn shaky. Oh shit.
It's gonna do more than shake now. First time I saw it, I was like, thank God it's not doing that over here where we're standing. That would not be good.
Okay, you're all right. Let's go home and get you fed.
guess even at these lower, I guess it's not like it's a stutter fest or anything. It actually got really great frame times. So far, the only system that kind of had some pretty shitty frame times was the Xbox Ally X. That thing had some hiccups. Though it just got a BIOS update. Maybe it's one of those times, like, even the original Ally had a couple of bogus BIOS updates that kind of made it shitty. Speaking of which, like, the very first one I ever got, like, all the reviewers were getting all this awesome performance, but it was getting pretty hot. It probably would have gotten, like, 5 minutes of battery, so they were like, well, let's tone it back a little. Then me and everyone else got it, and like, dude, this thing's, like, barely any faster than a Steam Deck. What the fuck? You, like, pull a fast one on this. But then after a little while, they fixed it all, and everything's all good now, so it just needs a little bit more time. But say that to most people that spend $1,000 on something, they're going to tell you to kindly fuck off. Make that shit work great right off the rip, and then add on to it, you know? I guess it's easier for me to not get so mad at it because I just have so many different things, and if something ticks me off or doesn't do a well enough job, I can always replace it. Holy shit, is that a climbing anchor? Oh shit! Alright, we're good. Alright. Hold up. Did I get everything? Is everything all good? Alright, we're all good now. Sheesh, that was fucking crazy. I popped myself. I thought I died. But then I'm still alive, so we just lost all our shit for a second. I completely forgot that happened. But I haven't played the first one in like shit. I don't know. When did it come out? I think it's been a few years now. And that was for the PC release. It came out on PC later, so. I'm so impressed with these $20 Logitech speakers that are USB powered. They're not the best speakers by any means, but damn do they sound decent. Better than any laptop speakers or speakers in a monitor, that's for sure.
Almost there.
And then there's like a $30 pair that's got a little subwoofer if you want a little bit of extra pumping. But I think with that, we will wrap this video up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Death Stranding 2 on the beach on the FIREBAT Mini PC. And just like on the Allies, it's definitely playable-ish, but only if you don't care about 60 FPS and don't care about it looking very good. Because unlike the little handhelds, the small screens can't save it. Or at least in this case, most people are going to be like on probably a 16 to 24 inch 1080p monitor. I just don't think it's going to look that great. But if you don't care that much about that and that's all you've got and you really want to play, at least it didn't crash or anything in the time I played, and I spent quite a while on it. I mean, if each thing I did was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds plus the 7 minutes of camera, that's a pretty decent amount of time. So, and I'm willing to bet it'll probably have some times where it drops under 30 even though, just like I bet it would on the handhelds and stuff too. Once you get into a big fight or even maybe just a normal like little fight. I can't remember how fights in this game work, but I do remember it took a long time for me to get into any. So, I didn't really feel like going that far, because who knows how far you go. I got to a cutscene finally after like 11 minutes, I think, of playing, but then I went into like my house, and I'm assuming I'm probably just going to come out of my house and walk around here some more. So I figured this is probably going to be the testing area, unfortunately. I know a lot of people would like me to go farther, fight stuff, and do all that stuff, but at least for now on the weaker stuff, I just figured we'd hang out here. Maybe on the more powerful stuff, I'll start trying to like progress in the story a little bit more. But at the same time, I don't want to ruin anything either. I always try to balance getting performance data and not ruining the story and pissing people off. So either way, why don't we wrap this up so I can get started on the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And I still can't give you a peace out with the right hand yet, so a left-handed peace out, and until the next video.